This is the first ever Tommy G Talks show. Tommy G Talks show, is that cool? Every Friday, we're gonna do this. Every Friday, I'm gonna be sat here with a guest, and today I'm joined by Jenna. The awesome Jenna, everyone. Jenna is one of my clients who's been working closely with me for, what, the last
4 months?
4 months. We've got Sam, everyone, over here. Say hi,
Hello.
Sam, for the people that can't see you on Instagram right now. And Sam has chosen some questions. We're going to run through these questions today. I'm going to attempt to answer them, and I don't know what they're going to be other than seeing them on Facebook. Sam's chosen what questions we're going to actually answer today. And then Jenna, we're going to openly discuss those questions and the answers and the viewpoints to see how we can best serve our audience today.
So Jackie from Facebook, she's put, how do I stop self-sabotaging my goals?
Jackie from Facebook, how do I stop self-sabotaging my goals? Now, first of all, I guess the first place to start here is, what is self-sabotage? Ultimately, it's when we get in our own way. Usually what happens is we start making progress, and at some point, our behaviour undoes the progress that we make. We call that self-sabotage because essentially it's us that's responsible for it. That's why it's called self-sabotage rather than someone else sabotaging purposely. So self-sabotage can be prevented when my opinion is when your conscious mind and your unconscious mind are on the same wavelength with what you really want. Sometimes we can be scared of what success looks like. So when it comes to, for example, changing our physical shape, we can actually deep down be scared of what that might do for us if we were to be in great condition, in great shape. Like, what would my friends think? What would my partner think? Like, that can be a stressful situation to think, okay, if I get in great shape, will my partner be threatened by that? That's something that we do think about, be it in our subconscious, as a concern to why we would get results. So that can hold us back. It can also be scared, like we can be fearful of what that future looks like, to the point where we start to mess it up for ourselves. Have you got some
Yeah, that's one of the things that, so I think being aware that you're self-sabotaging, I think the one thing to help is to talk to people, just to to have that conversation with like a friend or something. So I've done self-sabotage, and I probably still will do it as well, but I don't do it like, I'll probably do it like on a week.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's just change the way of thinking, to just accept that you'll own, like have a chocolate like one day, but just not do it every day, or just not do the chocolate and the crisps like I was doing.
Yeah, sure.
I went through a week, and then I thought about it and I was like, no, okay, but I completely get the fact of the fear of getting to that goal that you want to be really happy, and then it all just goes tits up.
Yeah.
That was my fear.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just learning, I think.
So support is key to help you overcome self-sabotage, and ultimately it's making sure that your whole being is on the same wavelength with what you're doing and why you're doing it. I talk a lot about, and it's something I learned from a coach of mine, Matt Elwell, it's strongest reason why. If you know your strongest reason why, then nothing else matters. I guess you've got to keep going. Like Jackie, the advice would be just to keep pushing through, no matter what happens, keep pushing through the barriers and constantly believe in the fact that you are already on the journey. Fall in love with the journey, overcome the hurdles, and you're more likely to avoid self-sabotage. Sam, hit us with another question.
So, this is Sheila from Facebook again.
Hello, Sheila.
It's a two-parter, okay? So the first is, how do you stay positive in a world that often feels so negative? And then the second part is, do random acts of kindness really make the world a better place?
Cool. Well, I guess the first part is that positivity, like a positive mindset, is attainable for everybody. It's essentially a stance in life. It's a position that you hold, and I know a lot of positive people who weren't always positive. It's a learned stance. You have to adapt a behaviour and a thought process to allow that to be the case. I think that there are a lot of really positive things that do go on around us that we overlook sometimes, and I think the default narrative is that it's a negative world around us. Now, don't get me wrong, I think there are a lot of pressures socially, culturally, through the media, expectation, comparison, and all these things bring negative connotations, but ultimately we are the person hinged there, left or right. We choose whether our experience is positive or negative. So like, I firmly believe that you can throw anything at me and I'd still be positive. It wouldn't stick. You know, then you could throw as much negative shit at me and I'd still have that bright side opinion.
Yeah.
And I guess like to answer the question, it's a learned process. Like you could obsess yourself with all the negative and you could be telling yourself that story as well, like everything's so shitty. Whereas it doesn't have to be. You've got a choice, we've all got a choice to accept the story that we're telling ourselves. Is it a negative world around us, or are we the ones that define what's negative, what's positive? What do you think, Jenna?
So that's kind of, I've only recently just gone back on Facebook,
Yeah.
as you know, and I came off it, I was coming off it a couple of times, because I just found it negative. I found it really hard. So literally going into the app, it was just like I felt like everything inside just crashing down. I don't want to be on here.
Yeah.
But now since I've just gone back, I've filtered it to what fits me, and it was being part of the Super Self Academy that I wanted to go on there and not miss out. So the other things that I do as well is I don't watch the news, and I've had friends say, "Well, you're going to miss on crucial things," but I was like, "Surely someone's going to tell me about it anyway." So it's just I try and have my environment how it makes me feel inside, but it is a massive learning curve. You got to learn, you got to keep pushing, and you got to adapt your environment to help fit you.
Yeah.
I think
It's like a loop. I think like the environment will affect you positive or negatively, and also your attitude will affect your environment positively or negatively. You know, and we're allowed to have down days. We're allowed to blip. We're allowed to say the occasional negative comment, but as long as that's not your default stance, and I think that hopefully answers the question for Sheila, that you can choose where you sit. It's black or white, really. It's which one are you more of the opinion, positive or negative. So that was the first part of the question. The second part of the question was, do random acts of kindness really make the world a better place?
I love that though. I love giving kindness back, holding the door. There was a lady here when I came to train a couple of weeks ago, and I was just in awe of, so she was a lot older, and I was just in awe of like the workouts that she was doing. I'm there doing weights and looking at her going, I'd rather do weights than what you're doing. So I gave her a compliment at the end of it, and I didn't want her to take it in the wrong way, but I thought she took it in a positive way, and she took it as a massive compliment, and I think that act of kindness as well, because I do believe you give kindness and then it will keep bouncing around, and if we didn't do that, then what kind of world would it be? I think the world that we'd be in would be a lot probably worse than it is currently.
I think that the key,
so don't stop giving kindness.
give more. I think give more of it is something we should all do. But here's the thing from my point of view here. It has to be without expectation.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's not pure. Because having expectation, it corrupts the process a little bit, in my opinion. So pure from a place of truth. Acts of kindness, it's a yes from us. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, definitely. Everything you just said.
You're on board. You just basically yes.
Yeah, just yeah.
All the yeses from Sam.
Who wouldn't want more positivity?
Absolutely, it's a yes from Sam. Let's take one more question. Cool. So let's go with one more question then, Sam. Let's do it. Let's finish on a biggie. What we got? Tommy G Talks, episode 1 of 4 million.
Let's do this. So Lynn, how do I pull myself out of a negative and low mood when at the point everything just feels too overwhelming?
Yeah, overwhelm's a biggie. I think that's like a spiral. It's a spiral. So I guess I think the only way, because we could spend a lot of time talking about this, and there could be lots of different metaphors, and there could be lots of different points of view. I think that the best way for me to help at this stage with this particular question is to explain what I believe to be the process behind feeling like that in the first place.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I would go shopping with my mum, and the only thing that kept me like happy about that, 'cause it was boring, was the little machine outside the front where you could put a little 2p coin inside and flip it, and it would go like that. Do you know what I mean? And then it would spiral like that, and then it would eventually disappear into the hole. Now, I believe that being in a position where you feel very negative and it's weighing you down and you're in a place of overwhelm is essentially like that coin. It's spiraling down, and every single time you have a negative thought or a negative thing happens and you take that on board as something that happened to you because it's you and it's always me, and you feel that weight, every time that happens, you spiral down. You spiral down, you spiral down, you spiral down. And the more that happens and the less great feelings you have and great thoughts and positive inspiration you have, the lower down you go. But here's the thing, unlike the coin, I think in life we can reverse gravity and we can actually come back up again. So let's say there were 10 instances of negativity, we're on a -10 now. 2 good things puts us on a -8. 2 more bad things puts us back down to -10. We can feel like we're not getting anywhere, but we need to recognise that every time we go up 1, we're making progress, and that we are always a work in progress. So all we need to do is compound and collect the positive experiences in order to spiral back up, and then we can have an infinite amount of pluses that could take us above 0, and that's where we could exist all the time. So I guess the metaphor is something I can help with, but also it's the knowledge to know that you're the one that's in charge of the ups and downs, right?
Yeah, it's that kind of, I can relate to that question a lot. But now looking back, it's so yes, everything's going really, really good, but it's down to me to keep going, or I can just give up and go, oh, you know what, I'm just going to stay here, and then it will slowly go down and down. It's small steps, I think, and it's one thing that I learned as well from Megan. It's just take the small wins. No matter what you do, just smile at someone, which you've taught me, and I'm still working on that as well. But just like those little small things, and acknowledge those as well, and I think just keep doing that. Just don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's one thing that I do, and probably what most of us do as well, but just acknowledge the good things of what you can, and start building that list. Start writing down everything that you've achieved, so you can then look back over like the months and you can see like a massive list. Just start building that list. Yeah,
compound them, pile them up, all the wins, be it big or small, because they all count.
5 minutes in the garden, a walk. I don't walk to the shop, I'm always in the car because I want to hide, but it's those it's those like those tiny little things it can be, just like 5 minutes for yourself.
Definitely. And I actually, Lynn is client also, and we spoke earlier today. I know she gets it. What this will do now is it will just reinforce it, and reinforcement is what's key to learning that something else, a different way of thinking or a different way of believing something is better, more beneficial than the current way. But that's the process behind it, is the wins. It's making sure that there's always something going on to make you feel good about yourself.
You say that as well. So what I've recently done is treating myself, and I remember I was talking to a friend, and I was like, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go do this. She was like, oh, make sure you treat yourself afterwards. And I was like, going to the gym is actually my treat. So what I've done, I've bought a band from New Zealand, because New Zealand is very close to me, and it's got a symbol on there. It's something about, I've taken it as life and journey. And that is my reminder, so I can't wait for it to arrive, but that's my reminder for this journey in the last 4 months, and also the 10 years as well before that, so I can look at that and go, wow, what have I've achieved so much. So yeah. Anything that reminds you of where you're going and why. Fall in love with the process, fall in love with the people, fall in love with the purpose. We say it all the time, and that's why it works, and you are the evidence of that, which is why you're here today for the very first ever Tommy G Talks episode, which one day we will look on fondly. Appreciate your time. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for watching this first episode. Remember, in order for me to serve you, I need your questions. So feel free to send your questions through. Like, comment, share, you know the deal. I'm here to help, I'm here to serve. This is episode 1 of millions. Thank you for sharing this experience with me. Thank you, Jenna, for sharing this experience. Thank you, Sam, who's been holding the Instagram live phone, and of course finding the questions for us today, and Jordan, who's been holding the camera. Peace out, everybody.